Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. It is Connect the Dots, 9:38 p.m. as we are recording this on the 27th day of April. Again, thank you for watching. I want to address a couple of things first before we get into connecting some dots here. I'm assuming it's trolls, but if they are serious questions, I've gotten some questions and I want to address them. No. Okay, there's your answer. No, I am not pushing for things to happen. No, I am not eager for some sort of catastrophe. No, that's not why I'm doing the show that I'm doing. If something hits the fan and after tonight's show, I think you might agree with me that it seems awfully likely that something is going to hit the fan. I'll basically be here with Doofus Dog and Doofus Cat by myself. Few houses down, a couple of blocks down, there's a mega Trump supporter who's been, well, never mind, because I'm not going to say anything about it just yet. Now, also a few blocks down the street, there was a guy that flew a Trump flag and a Marine Corps flag. When the war began again in Ukraine, because this is the second time they were invaded in 2014, originally by Russia, and Russia occupied what's known as the Donbass region and occupied what's known as Crimea. And Russia claims that territory, even though it's Ukrainian. When he did that, and Trump called him a genius, the next time I walked the dog in that direction, the Trump flag was gone and the American flag was back on top with the Marine Corps flag underneath it. So take that for what you will. But no, I don't talk about these things because I want them to happen, because I hope they're going to happen. Because as prepared as I am, as far as you know, what we talk about on here, what the government basically says, the 10 or 12 basic things that you absolutely need to have. I've got all those plus some things that I myself think are essential. And despite that, I mean, I haven't bought anything that is going to waste away if nothing happens. Okay. I haven't invested in anything that, if there's not a catastrophe, if there's not some sort of major catastrophe, yay. Okay. I don't want any of this stuff to happen, but so many things are happening. And you know what, let's get to them right now. I'm going to start off with this. We've mentioned it before on here. From President Ulysses S. Grant in 1875, right before the country's 100th anniversary. he said, quote, "If we are to have another contest in the near future of our national existence, I predict that the dividing line will not be Masons and Dixons, but between patriotism and intelligence on one side and superstition, ambition, and ignorance on the other side." Now, in this centennial year of our national existence, I believe it is a good time to begin the work of strengthening the foundation of the house commenced by our patriotic forefathers 100 years ago at Concord and Lexington. So basically, Ulysses S. Grant was being predictive. We are at that precipice right now. The battle lines are being drawn, and both sides are going to think they're right, and nobody's going to back down once it starts, if it does start, and I sincerely pray it doesn't. But if it starts, he's pretty much told us how it's going to break down. True patriotism, okay, not calling yourself a patriot, not wrapping in the American flag, which is disrespectful. I'm sorry, but you know, there's a what's called the United States Flag Code. There's a lot of things that the ignorance on the other side are totally unaware of, or they just they're just going to trample over everything. And that is a concern, and a legitimate concern, as you'll see as we go along in the show. But actual patriotism, actually believing in democracy, actually believing in equality, actually believing in justice and freedom and intelligence. There is an attack underway on anybody that's intelligent. And it's going to keep coming, because the intellectuals, the artists, are one of the first and biggest targets because of the way we think. The way we think is dangerous because we have power. Patriotism and intelligence on one side, superstition, ambition, and ignorance on the other side. Superstition, QAnon, anybody? Ambition, Trump, Tiny Marco Rubio, Lion Ted Cruz, the harlots, you know, the twin harlots, Boebert and Green. Can we go on as far as ambition and ignorance? Let's inject drain cleaner, and that'll take care of the COVID. John F. Kennedy Jr. is going to be vice president, even though he's been dead for 30 years. Now, if something happens to Trump and he dies, these people aren't going to believe he's dead. You know that. All right. Anyway. Patriotism and intelligence on one side, superstition, ambition, and ignorance on the other. Just something to think about as we move forward into our stories. I'm sorry, but I've got some intelligence, all right? I'm not sorry about it, but I don't flaunt it or try not to. And I don't speak down to people, and, you know, and I get frustrated sometimes, and when people don't see things as quickly or, you know, as I might see them, and that's on me. Okay. But science is trying to tell us something. And I said earlier, a catastrophe of some sort of another. Let's go to the science. First of all, just going to play a brief little clip here.
Hey guys, what's up? What's popping? Somebody give me a 5 for 5 in there. We're going to get going. This is going to be really, really quick because I'm doing another live stream here in about 10 minutes. I'll probably come back here later on and give you guys a better update, but I wanted to pop out here real quick and let you know what's going on. We did get hit with a unexpected geomagnetic storm. They were forecasting one for tomorrow, tomorrow. But this is happening because of magnetic cracks in our magnetic field. Okay, and that could have been caused from CMEs, could have been caused from really just about anything. But typically, what you're seeing is magnetic connection lines that are moving in opposite directions at different heights, and when they cross, it'll cause these cracks. And when these cracks happen, and it happens all the time, but that doesn't usually do this. Okay, so we've got geomagnetic storm conditions. We went in and went down, popped back in. I look for us to do it again, probably tomorrow, maybe even tonight. Right now, currently, we are not in those conditions. So just wanted to put that out there and let you guys know that this did happen. There was some more flaring going on. We're not really going to go into that right now, but there was a solar tornado. So let me show that to you real quick. And I think I got over, right here. This is some pretty cool stuff. This solar tornado,
as long as it's not pointing towards us, this is cool stuff.
Okay, put that in perspective there a little bit, guys. Check it out. It's crazy how big things are and how small we actually are. We don't typically think about it in that terms, but that's usually if you just sit back and think about it for a minute, that's what you see.
Okay, you're going to see a tornado. You can see it starting to spin here, and I apologize. I talked over what he was saying. The tornado is 5 times as big as Earth. And it was pointing the other direction, thankfully, this time.
Right. So it's up here. It's a filament release, but what you're going to see is it's going to turn into a solar tornado. See that? See it spinning? Now that's not wind. That's plasma moving on a magnetic connection line. Okay, I've explained that before here, but you can see how the other filament was on this side and this side. So that's all one filament, and what's happening is it's erupting. That is not coming at us, but that did happen. It's very cool stuff. Just wanted to show that to you.
As long as it's not coming at us.
Actually, if you go here to spaceweather.com, they've got some really cool stuff over here talking about that too. They're talking about the Venus-Jupiter connection there. Here's their capture. I'm not going to stay on that picture a whole lot because I want you guys to be able to go over and give these guys some traffic if you could. Look at all these numbers. Those are all sunspots. And I'm going to point this out real quick, like too. Guys, sunspot numbers. Okay, predicted for this month would be.
Why sunspot numbers are important? Because generally that's where eruptions of sun plasma come from, and the CMEs that they talk about, they come from those black holes. So the more black holes pointing towards Earth, the more potential there will be for a major solar weather event, which we normally don't even consider, but we've got cracks in our electromagnetic field that are going to let pulses in potentially. And these CMEs might impact electronics. I've had some problems all throughout the day with the internet, and I didn't realize why until I got noticed that, hey, you should check this video out.
37. That's what was forecasted. You want to know how many we've already had, and we still got a few days left in the month? 126.
Okay, 37 were predicted, and we've already had 126.
So if that don't just blow your forecasting right out the door, I don't know what does. That's going to bust over 130, probably, maybe even close to 140. And again, to put that in perspective, during solar maximum last sun cycle, the highest it got was 146. So
Okay, there's a solar sun cycle. The sun is also rotating, and it's like every 8 years we are in a key spot. We are in a key spot where the majority of the coronal mass ejections, the CMEs, come from. And that he was showing you the numbers from 2014, the last time we were in that spot. We are not there. We're still 3 years away from being in the prime spot, and we're already getting hit 130 times a month. That probably just went over everybody's head. I don't think so, because I think we got smarter viewers than the average YouTube channel does. But it's significant with the cracks in the magnetic field going on. Okay, and that's why he's talking so fast, is because over the next 24 hours, there's a significant possibility of something happening. And tying in with how everything is geopolitically, that something could get misinterpreted as an attack by a nation upon a nation, when it is in actuality an actual natural occurrence. It just puts another domino in the line.
So yeah, we're not even in solar max. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's a big discrepancy, in my opinion. They really messed this prediction value up. And I'm not trying to say, that's a hard thing to forecast, right? I get it. You know what I'm saying, guys?
It's
I really,
nothing
truly,
messed it
honestly
up.
get it.
It's just things
But
are
at
happening.
the same time, man, that's a big miss. And the other scientists that were talking about it, man, I'm telling you, they stepped out of what mainstream was trying to say it was going to be, and said it was going to be more active. And they were correct. There's no other way to say that. But this is another eruption that happened that went off the backside. So let's go to the next day here. This is the 27th. If this is even going to load, who knows, man. I tell you what, the internet right now is just blowing bad. It is. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I've had more internet issues today than I've had in a long time.
If the video's lagging,
Stereo
that's
away, our
probably
side
why.
view. That right there is that filament release. Okay. And then another one happened over here. You see this one? That one there is actually going off to our right. Either one of these are coming at us.
Thankfully.
Okay. But that's significant. This is significant stuff, right? And the sunspot that is down here in the southern hemisphere is rotating in. So I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, so look at the sun right now. Look at this. I mean, there's just a bunch of sunspots, coronal holes. We're going to be getting wind from that. I mean, we got space weather coming, guys. And I don't know how else to say that. But
okay, space weather's coming, guys. What can we do about that? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Just know that if there are interruptions in electronics, that may be where it's from. Let's go ahead and just get all the science out of the way at the start, and then we'll get into the news stories. Not that this is these are either volcanoes or tsunami buoys, buoys, buoys. And here's Krakatoa. We talked last night about Krakatoa had erupted, and here is a tsunami buoy in the area. And I'm just going to play a couple of couple of minutes of this.
Our now famous buoy and check out what's been going on for now 5 straight days now. Now, I've been getting a lot of comments asking if this buoy may be malfunctioning or something along those lines. At this point, in my opinion, that is not what's happening here. These are clear-cut signatures going on, and it almost looks like they're coming in intervals. It almost looks like the ground is going through sessions of breathing, rises and dips, basically happening in pairs of 2s throughout each day, leading up to the 27th right here.
Okay, I'm pausing it just for a second and we'll listen to another minute or two. If you watched the program last night, you know we showed what was going on the northwest edge of the Yellowstone caldera, how the ground had shifted up and then looked like it set back down. That is almost from where this buoy is, the other side of the earth is just about identical to the spot where that caldera is. Just saying. And if you haven't seen last night's episode, go back and watch it, please.
And now that we are into the 27th, we can already see we've had another dip to start the beginning phase of another set of 2, if that makes sense. It's almost like each day is getting a set of 2 drastic dips and then rises. So we're talking well over a week of this buoy showing similar signatures as if there's something going on the ground that's causing that rise and then almost leveling out just to then have another signature and another trigger. Now, this buoy has been in trigger mode for days now. Usually they only last 24 hours, but because it's being triggered over and over again, this thing has been pulsing for days. All right, my friends, and now we're going to take a look at a few different situations that could possibly be taking place right now. So right away, let's get over to the area in question where the buoy is. Let's say that buoy is right around this area. Again, this ridge right here is the meeting of 2 tectonic plates. Okay, back in 2004, this area right up here by the Andaman Sea was responsible for that 9.3 earthquake and then the big tsunami that we have now covered in multiple videos since back on April 2nd, when that buoy went into activation mode, showing a very, very weird signature that you just don't see all the time. So that's clue number 1. And as we follow this fault line down to the area of which the second buoy now that has been going off for over a week with some of the most dramatic signatures I've ever seen as a YouTuber, or even just in studying weird anomalies on Earth, we have that situation taking place as well. Now, if we move up here between these 2 islands, we
See, I'm not the only weirdo.
have something called the Krakatoa volcano. Now we're going to zoom into this area because there's actually 2 parts to this volcano. As you can see, the main Krakatoa volcano is right here, and then we have the sister volcano, the Anak Krakatoa. Now, both of which have gone off in the past. We all know about this. On May 20th in the 1800s, we had one of the biggest eruptions ever to take place at this volcano. And we absolutely have action at this sister volcano, or the offspring volcano, as you can see in this art.
Okay, we talked about that last night. And they're anticipating, as we said last night, obviously tsunami potential and a possible megathrust earthquake. It was a great map, and that's why I wanted to show it, because you can see the dividing line where one piece of the Earth's crust is coming up against another piece of the Earth's crust, and they push against each other until there's a shift. Sometimes that shift is like that, like we just did, and it's massive and it's felt for a long, long time. Sometimes the shift is just a little minor push and the Earth just trembles a little bit. They're concerned with the activity that the buoys are monitoring from the ground to the top of the ocean, and the movements they're seeing and the volcanic activity increasing, okay, which is not how it normally does. It normally has a fairly big blow and then, settles down after the major eruption. This erupted and it just keeps erupting and keeps erupting and so strange things are happening all across the Earth. And remember, I told you, we talked about in the show, the possibility of the magnetic poles on Earth shifting. And if that were to happen, there would be a lot of the things that we're talking about here, potentially earthquakes, volcanoes, breaks in the magnetic field. All these things we talked about, they're going on in some place at some time, including the talks just increasing about the Antarctic shelf and it breaking off, and a sudden 20-foot sea rise worldwide, like dropping an ice cube into a glass. When it hits, the water comes out and up. And if this hit, it would be the largest ever. It's never happened. When, and you hear that a lot lately. I don't know if you do, but I'm hearing it a lot lately. This has never happened since mankind has been around. So that's the science part. That's the natural part of how things can fall apart as we connect the dots on, we're going to probably have a catastrophe of some sort here in the United States before the November 22nd or November 2022 elections. Okay. Austin Peay State University, 5 hours, 6 hours now. A ransomware attack was underway, and they send out the release. This is not a test. Shut down all computers now. So if you ever get that notification in your company or from American Doofus, shut your computers down. If you ever hear me say, hey, you need to shut your computer down and upgrade everything right now. Get the latest update everything right now. Attacks are coming. I found out about one coming not long ago and told I wasn't online and I didn't have enough time to get online. But I told, the people on my phone that you need to, if you're running this system, you need to do this. If you're running this system, you need to do that. The 8 lawmakers who voted against a bill urging the U.S. to seize the frozen assets of Russian oligarchs and to use the proceeds to help Ukraine. I cannot explain the 8 names on this list. Madison Cawthorn, he's getting pushed out of the Republican Party. All right, they're not saying that. I'm saying that, and I told you this last night. Don't be surprised if he steps away. I'm sorry, he's in a wheelchair for those that don't know, and I didn't mean that as anything derogatory, saying he steps away because he's in a wheelchair. He removes himself from the upcoming election to spend more time with his family. That's the word I'm getting, is what's going to happen. Anyway, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Massey from Kentucky, Roy. But then you got Bush and Ocasio-Cortez. And Omar and Talib and Omar. Talib represents a Muslim district in Michigan. I'm not sure why they don't want Russian oligarch access. I mean, I know why these don't, these are all solid Trump people and solid Putin people. But I'm not sure why these 4. And it's not a good sign, okay? Because this is one of those votes that normally people don't pay attention to. But nowadays, everybody's paying attention to everything, as we always should have all along. And not paying attention is how we got in the situation we're in. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill aggressively question the chief executives of the country's 4 beef producers, accusing them of engaging in anti-competitive practices that have financially harmed cattle ranchers and driven up the price of meat. 4, there are 4 major companies that do 90% of all the meat producing in the United States. There are 4 major companies that own almost all of the media in the United States. There are 4 individuals that own almost all the social media in the United States. It's an awful lot of control for a small number of people, awful lot of control over millions upon millions upon millions of people in the hands of a small number of people. The FBI has obtained secret wiretaps collected by Spanish police of conversations involving Alexander Torshin, a deputy governor of Russia's central bank, who has forged close ties with US lawmakers, and he forged close ties with the National Rifle Association. Okay, this Russian spy led to a meeting with Donald Trump Jr. during the NRA annual convention in Louisville, Kentucky in 2016. Spanish prosecutor says Trump Jr. should be concerned. Now, I don't think any of them are going to be concerned. I don't think any of them are going to be concerned at all for one of 2 reasons. One, they think nothing's ever going to happen to them because they're white, they're privileged, and nothing ever happens to the white privileged upper crust. It doesn't. You know, I'm sorry, but it doesn't. And it doesn't matter what party you're in. You know, Ted Kennedy, okay? Ted Kennedy twice, actually, when his nephew killed somebody on their estate down in Florida. Big trial, nothing happened. Ted Kennedy, Chappaquiddick, no trial. Nothing ever happened. They're thinking that, and they're also thinking that all Trump has to say is 1776, let's take our country back now. We must take our country back now. And it's on. That's how fast it can happen. That's how fast it can go to patriotism and intelligence on one side and superstition, ambition, and ignorance on the other side. Just something to think about. Not going to have a lot of stories tonight. I'm not going to take a lot of time. Challenges has been accepted. What's the challenge? Well, the challenge is a reward of up to $10 million for information on Russian GRU officers and hackers. You remember, if you watched last night, you remember me telling you that when we hear about Russian hackers, don't think it's, you know, just some guy in a uniform. Well, this guy's one of the guys in the uniform. All right. He's a GRU officer. These are all kids. These are all kids. And I mean, you know, they're probably 18 to between 18 and 30. But, you know, when you get my age, that's a kid. So these people are the ones that are putting the stuff in our systems, and most of the stuff in there is sleeper. All right. It's activated. It's been in there waiting to be activated. The ones that are coming with fresh attacks, most of those are getting thwarted. The problem is the stuff that was put in there before we had our guard up. Okay, going all the way back to 2016 when they the Russian bots propagandized social media, and Trump stole the election and almost stole the country. So just so you know, Anonymous is going to be on this, and I'm imagining, just from the contacts I've had with the anonymous contacts I've had with a few people who are in the business of computers, they know who a couple of these people are, and these people, the people that work in Anonymous are good. They are very good, and we're going to hear probably 48 to 72 hours. We're going to hear about apprehensions of some of these people, and good on Anonymous for doing so. Rolling Stone's got an exclusive. Tucker Carlson pushed Trump to endorse J.D. Vance with disgusting sexual innuendo. I've told you what the word on the street is about. Anyway, pop back over here just real fast. Patriotism and intelligence on one side. Superstition, ambition, and ignorance on the other side. I came on with a breaking thing that QAnon had threatened the churches on Easter. They told their people to occupy the churches, and I got some blowback on that. Why did you do that? Why did you talk about that? Blah 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 blah. Because number one, churches aren't very secure. They're pretty easy to take over. Number two, it is a story if you take over a church and you're going to get attention. Number three, it's easy to secure once you take over. I mean, that's okay. That's what they were trying to get through to everybody. I've waited now a couple of weeks. I didn't tell you all that when it was going on because I didn't want anybody watching to go, oh, well, I might do that myself. Not that any of you would, but you know, you never know who's going to accidentally stumble onto this channel, and don't want to give ideas like that out. So, and I told you that because of Putin's Orthodox minister, who's a billionaire, we showed the $30,000 watch on his wrist, and then we showed it photoshopped out, but they didn't forget, you know, they forgot to Photoshop the reflection of the watch. We showed you that. If not, go back and watch episodes, you know, binge watch this sometime. If you haven't seen the past episodes, there's a lot of stuff that you're just not going to hear anywhere else. I'm sorry, you're just not going to hear it anywhere else. And I told you, they're going to come after the churches. They're going to come, and QAnon, we played that video where it's the Anglican churches, the Catholic churches, and the United churches. Those were the three churches targeted. Those are the three biggest Protestant factions and the biggest Catholic faction, okay? Let me go down to what Marge said today. Marjorie Taylor Greene just attacked Christians who are helping migrants, claiming that Satan is controlling the church. The church is not adhering to the teachings of Christ. They're saying, oh, we have to love these people and love one another. Here's your Antichrist. Here is an Antichrist. All right. She's telling her followers, the church, this is her quote, the church is not adhering to the teachings of Christ. The teachings of Christ are, in fact, love these people and love one another. That's the golden rule. That's the only rule Jesus put out there. It's the whole foundation of Christianity, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is attacking it. She attacked the Catholic Church earlier, specifically the Catholic Church. And then this is a second story, if you will, 2 in 1 day. Now, they're either building up, she's not smart enough to do this on her own. Okay, somebody's feeding her the information. Somebody's telling her what to say. We've shown on here, senators, tell me what to say. Congress people, how should I handle this? What am I supposed to say? I'm sorry, but they're going to come at America, the fascists of the world. If you're a QAnon person listening, the cabal thing you're talking about, they're the people you're listening to. That's who's doing this. The fascist of the world. And I know some of you watching this are going, you're crazy. Conspiracy theory. No. I may be crazy, but this isn't a conspiracy theory. This is connecting the dots. The more pressure that's on Don Trump Jr., well, not necessarily Don Trump Jr., because everybody knows he's a cocaine addict and he's dangerous. Even his dad wouldn't let him in the White House. Okay. Ivanka and Jared, they were there all the time. Don Jr. couldn't get into the White House. Yeah, I don't think Fox told you that. CNN or MSNBC probably didn't tell you that, but it's true. Anti-intellectualism has become an identity for some rural Americans. A Newsweek study says anti-intellectualism. Ambition and ignorance on one side, patriotism and intelligence on the other. I'm just connecting the dots. I'm not making any of this up. These aren't, I didn't write any of these stories. This is disturbing. This angers me. It should anger all of us, because somebody was trying to do reform of the police. In Westfield, New Jersey, 2 officers reported fellow cop for racial profiling. The New Jersey town suspended both police officers. Okay, let me repeat that. Westfield, New Jersey, 2 cops reported another cop because he was racially profiling people. And they suspended the 2 cops that reported him. I don't know, maybe that's not troubling. Maybe that's a single incident in one police department. Maybe that's not happening all across the country. And when shit hits the fan and these people are unleashed, just a conspiracy theory, nothing to see here. Sergeant Preston Freeman, 49, and Lieutenant Nicole Stilbaugh, 42, had accused Officer Christopher Forcinetto of racially influenced profiling involving, let's just see what the story says. A lawsuit says 2 officers have sued the town, claiming they were retaliated against after they reported a fellow police officer for ticketing a black driver while letting a white one go without a summons. They said it was racially influenced profiling. And they were suspended. He was promoted. I don't know that, but it's coming. Okay, this our friends at Rolling Stone. I say our friends because they approached me after seeing some of my stuff and wanted to know if I would consider writing blurbs for YouTube. I haven't heard back from them. I'm not writing for them at the moment, just for clarity. But Donald Trump's been testifying. We haven't heard a lot about this in the mainstream media, but he's been testifying to a grand jury in New York, and he's pretty much, you know, he's nailing his own coffin with some of the things, and then some of the things have just been outrageous. He testified that he was scared he was going to be killed by fruit. And you get hit with fruit. It's very violent stuff. We were all on alert for that. You can get killed with those things. There's your brave daddy man. Calling people cowards, and he's afraid of fruit. Okay. If you're still watching, first of all, thank you. And if you still have questions about why at the very beginning I said there's a possibility of catastrophes happening from many different levels, many different sources. I know this is by far the most favorite thing I do on this program, is show you what they're saying on Russian TV. This, however, well,
Нам объявили войну, чего нам ждать далее? Нам сначала придется провести спецоперацию по демилитаризации Североатлантического альянса. Это, как кажется, совсем будет непросто.
Вот эти 40 представителей разных стран, это такой сегодня коллективный Гитлер. Вы абсолютно были правы, когда сказали, что де-факто, по сути, мы находимся в состоянии Третьей мировой войны.
Россия принципиальным образом несет три вещи мировому порядку. Первое – это справедливость, второе – это мир, и третье – это безопасность. А вот эти все коллеги пытаются развязать большую войну. Они ее уже фактически развязали.
Или мы проигрываем на Украине, или начинается Третья мировая. Лично я считаю более реалистичным путь Третьей мировой. Потому что, зная нас, зная нашего руководителя Путина Владимира Владимировича, вот самое невероятное, что в конце концов все это закончится ядерным ударом, мне представляется все же более вероятным, чем вот такое развитие событий. К ужасу моему, с одной стороны, с другой стороны, к пониманию, что, ну что, значит так, значит меня...
Ну мы-то в рай.
Да, меня...
А они просто...
Okay, I don't know if my little toolbar down here shows up on the recording or not. So I'm going to play that again just to make sure you can read it down here.
Нам объявили войну, чего нам ждать далее? Нам сначала придется провести спецоперацию по демилитаризации Североатлантического альянса. Это, как кажется, совсем будет непросто.
Вот эти 40 представителей разных стран, это такой сегодня коллективный Гитлер. Вы абсолютно были правы, когда сказали, что де-факто, по сути, мы находимся в состоянии Третьей мировой войны.
Россия принципиальным образом несет три вещи мировому.
Of course.
Чего нам ждать далее? Нам сначала придется провести спецоперацию по демилитаризации Североатлантического альянса. Это, как кажется, совсем будет непросто.
Вот эти 40 представителей разных стран, это такой сегодня коллективный Гитлер. Вы абсолютно были правы, когда сказали, что де-факто, по сути, мы находимся в состоянии Третьей мировой войны.
Россия принципиальным образом несет три вещи мировому порядку. Первое – это справедливость, второе – это мир, и третье – это безопасность. А вот эти все коллеги пытаются развязать большую войну. Они ее уже фактически развязали.
или мы проигрываем на Украине, или начинается Третья мировая. Лично я считаю более реалистичным путь Третьей мировой. Ну, потому что, зная нас, зная нашего руководителя Путина Владимира Владимировича, вот самое невероятное, что в конце концов все это закончится ядерным ударом, мне представляется все же более вероятным, чем вот такое развитие событий. К ужасу моему, с одной стороны, с другой стороны, к пониманию, что, ну что, значит так. Знаешь, меня...
Ну, мы-то в рай.
Да, меня...
А они трусят.
There you go.
Нам объявили войну.
Basically, as it says right up here, Russia's most famous journalists and experts saying on state TV that nuclear war with NATO maybe wouldn't be that bad after all, since the Russians will go to heaven while the Westerners will just croak. This is the most popular show in Russia. The Russian people are hearing all of this. They're okay with getting hit with nuclear weapons. They're preparing them almost like Islamists, extremists prepare those that they know are going to be suicide weapons. And it's just something I think we ought to know about, because they're telling their people over there that we're going to get hit with nuclear weapons. And over here, we're talking about Captain Jack Sparrow and the trial with his ex-wife and what he was taken to get high. This from Politico and Morning Consult. This was a poll taken. The question was, if a candidate is accused of blank, and we have the different blanks, is it a major problem? If a candidate is accused of sexual misconduct, is it a major problem? 83% of Dems said yes. 77% of independents said yes. 66% of Republicans said yes, which I find is odd with the number of Republicans that we show on here with sexual misconduct. Nonetheless, domestic violence, 81%, 74%, 67%. Racist remarks, 80%, 59%, 38%. Country's more racist than we think, or at least they're more accepting of racism than we should be in 2022 in a free and open society. But if you're constantly attacking intelligence and true patriotism, what are you going to get? Homophobic remarks, 71% Democrat, only 50% independents, and only 25% Republican. You want to know why Republicans win elections? 51 and 38, 50 and 25. Anti-Semitism. Okay, they're not as anti-Semitic. They're not as against Jewish people as much as against the LGBTQ plus community. All right. They're not against Jewish people as much as the LGBTQ community and the Black community. Something to think about, I think. I don't know. Maybe you've heard this on all the other media sources. I don't know. We're not going to quit talking about this. We're not going to quit bringing this to the front, because not enough people are talking about child safety, pedophiles, especially online. And again, my friends in Anonymous are are involved. This is Joseph Leroy, and he goes by Joseph L 5099564. You should stop harassing young girls. I have seen how you also retweet young girls. Your account shows things that young girls don't find attractive, and it shows what his account's showing. Now, I didn't post everything. I didn't post his address, his phone number, that the police department has been contacted, that this guy is now probably in custody. And Anonymous wants to remind us that when SHTF happens, you cannot say we did not warn you all. And you cannot say that I have not warned you all. Again, Anonymous is very active in this. They've got a project going on. I'm just going to say that. If you know something, hashtag child porn, hashtag Operation Pedo Hunt, hashtag Operation Child Safety, or hashtag the Invincible Warriors. And they will get the information. And that's all you have to do. You know, you don't have to contact any of them. Just use hashtags and they will find you. And they're not coming for you. They're coming for whoever you're concerned about. And they're not going to attack them or anything. If you just have questions, you just have concerns, put it out there and let people look that know what and how and where to look. Because this isn't going away either. And nobody's going to work on it except us. We, the people, is who's going to have to stop all of this, because there are too many powerful people involved. And another reminder from Bob Marley. The problem is people are being hated when they're real. And they're being loved when they're fake. The most popular people are the most fake people. And the most real people are the ones that get oppressed. Love you all. Thank you for watching. That's why we're here. I found this really amusing. Bannon comes out and he thinks, oh my gosh, look, I've got admirers. They want my autograph. Here's me taking his autograph. This is not a sign of admiration. No, I needed a signature to be able to verify that it matches the one on the title deed for a New York penthouse worth $5 million because of an upcoming lawsuit. One for the good guys. But the joy does not last long. North Korea conducted a night military parade, and that's actually what we showed. We showed some planes scrambling out of Alaska. I think it was Sunday, either Sunday or Saturday, and this is why the activity that was going on. I talked about how there were so many soldiers and so much artillery and equipment base there that there was concern that they might be getting aggressive towards South Korea. That is still a legitimate concern, but this picture gives us a very good look at, and this will probably get this episode taken down, showing this. North Korea doesn't like me very much. But here are two of their recent intercontinental ballistic missile constructions. So I'm going to leave it up here just for a couple more seconds, just to make sure anybody that wants to get a good, clear screenshot of it. Can. All right. And these are people trying to get out of Transnistria and into Moldova. They're fleeing because what is being seen as a possible coming war in the region due to heightened Moldovan security measures. Crossing into Moldova is getting much more difficult. And this is the third night in a row that I've had these. I finally decided to show it. I found this rather ironic. An armed robbery was staged in front of the FBI headquarters in Washington, D.C. A brazen thief carried out an armed robbery right under the FBI's nose with an audacious holdup just outside the agency's headquarters. And Grand Rapids, Michigan. Of course, this is the latest example of police murdered a man that they did a traffic stop, and the guy stepped around to the front of his car to look at what his license plate number was. The cop lunged at him. The guy started running. The cop tackles the guy. There's a struggle for a taser, and the cop gets the guy down, gets on top of him, pulls his gun out and shoots him in the back of the head. And his body camera was turned off, of course, before any of that happened. This is their city commissioners meeting last night.
Why is she not arrested? Because you. You should arrest me. I was taking the form was passed out for MSP. I'm not even. He should have been arrested immediately. He shot a man in the back. If I would have shot a man in the back, I said, what would I do? Where would I be? Where would I be? You should have arrested him before he was investigation. You agree? Yeah, because you're not even the one that likes to say you got how many what came to their city? Adjourn the meeting. Christopher sure has a fucking GoFundMe with $10,000 already. What the fuck is that? He should be arrested. Your officer has a GoFundMe account. So disband that. Tell him he should suspend that immediately. $10,000. That's fucking sick. He should get a call and be told that money should be given back to the community. It's fucking disgusting. It's fucking disgusting. That might not be. You can't go straight on. I know you work to understand your hand, but I'm fucking failing. I'm in the street. I'm in the streets every day. My daughter's.
The tensions in this country are high. Familia, one of my, for those that haven't seen the show, Ilya, we came in contact the very first day of hostilities. And why is Russia having fires and mysterious blasts and fuel and munition depots almost every night? And we've been showing them, and this was the latest. This one's in Belgorod. These are all in Russia. Okay, these are all, and they're not false flags. They're not. It's not Russia attacking itself to you know, somehow justify some sort of escalation, just so you know. So where we at? There we go. So a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to possibly talk about countering. I don't know, let me know what you think. I'm going to put this in Premiere form, and I'm going to be watching in the comments over in the Premiere form, and I'll be there to chat with you. If you have a question, if you think something, you want me to justify something or whatever it may be, I will, I'm going to put this up at midnight. It's 10:44 now as I'm ending this. So it'll be up at midnight, and there'll be a notification of it. And I'll be back very soon. We're connecting the dots on the American Doofus channel. I thank you very much for watching. You know it's a dark world. I know it's a dark world. I believe, though, that we can all be a light. And if enough of us are lights, we're going to survive. We're going to get through whatever it is. And if we don't, Spirit in the Sky. Sung by Norman Greenbaum. I love you all. Thank you for watching. See you next time. It is a dark world. Be a light. Peace, my friends. Love you.